Hi everyone, what's up? So I haven't posted a video here on YouTube in a little bit, unless you are a part of my Patreon, in which case you've been seeing my workout videos on the Patreon. But I wanted to come on here today because I have been a little more active on TikTok, and last weekend I had a series of videos that blew up, and a little bit, relative to how my videos usually do. And I got a lot of really awesome questions. And one of them in particular, I knew I wanted to make more content about. And at first I was going to make another TikTok series, but then I realized it was going to be multiple parts. I don't like feeling restricted to the 1 minute time frame on that platform sometimes. And for a topic like this, I wanted to give myself the freedom to take a little more time to explain things. So here I am on YouTube making this video, and we are going to be talking about mindful movement today. We're going to talk about what it is, what it isn't, how you can apply it to your life, and some tips I have for just moving mindfully. So if you don't know me, my name is Carolyn. I am an anti-diet personal trainer, which means that I help people work out in a way that is supportive of body acceptance, intuitive eating, a healthy relationship with food, fitness, and their body, and that is not about changing the way that we look or the number on the scale. So HAES aligned, anti-diet, weight neutral, that is my jam. And a big part of that is mindful movement. So that's what we're going to talk about today. My goal is that this is not going to be one of my really long, 45-minute videos. I'm going to try to keep it concise, and I'm going to try to keep it simple for myself, edit as little as possible. Hopefully this will just be a one-take endeavor. But yeah, let's get into it. So I had a question that was basically how do you have any tips for getting started with mindful movement? And I just thought that was such a great question, and I want to get to that question. But first I want to explain what mindful movement is. So mindful movement is basically applying the concept of mindfulness to your movement practice or to your exercise practice. So mindfulness, if you have ever done any reading or experienced anything in the realm of meditation or maybe mindful eating, you know that mindfulness is basically awareness. It's bringing awareness to whatever activity it is, or feeling, emotion, whatever it is. When you're mindful of it, you are bringing awareness to it. So in mindful movement, that's what it's all about. It's about bringing awareness to not just the way that you are moving your body, which is super important in everything related to fitness and exercise, but also bringing mindfulness to your goals, your why for exercising, the reasons that you choose to exercise, the reason that you choose certain activities over others, bringing mindfulness to the way exercise makes you feel, your decision-making process for when and how much you exercise, really just bringing a lot of awareness to the entire experience of it, not just, am I paying attention to having good form, which is a part of it, but not all of it. So the reasons that mindful movement is so beneficial is because it allows you to exercise in a way that is actually in line with what you want and need out of an exercise program or movement practice. See, when you're not practicing mindful movement, when you're just sort of going through the motions, following a program that, you found on the internet, there's a few things that you're putting yourself at risk for. One of them is injury. If you're not being mindful of the exercise that you're doing, why you're doing each one, and how you're doing it, you're going to be putting yourself at risk to, be doing exercises that aren't actually safe or appropriate for your body right now. You might be doing things that are too advanced for you, or that are just contraindicated for an injury that you might have, or just for some reason aren't right for you that day. And if you're not being mindful, that might lead to injury. So first and foremost, we're talking about safety. Moving mindfully means listening to your body, being aware of how you feel and how your body feels when you're exercising. And so when you are being really mindful of that, you can choose your workouts with a lot more intention. And while you're going through your workouts, that awareness gives you the opportunity to say, hey, you know what? This exercise actually isn't feeling good on my knees today. I'm going to skip it and replace it with something else. Or, you know what? I didn't sleep very well last night and I'm realizing that's really affecting my energy. I think this hour workout I had planned is actually a little too much for me today, and I'm going to take out a few exercises and I'm going to make this a 40-minute workout instead because that's more in line with what I need and what will be best for me today. So those are all examples of bringing mindfulness into the workout itself when you're doing it so that you can make really safe decisions about what type of exercise is going to be best for you that day. So that's one way that mindful movement can manifest. But it's not just about the exercises, like I said kind of in the intro to this video. It's also mindfulness about your mindset around exercise. And this is something that I feel really passionately about. And this is what ties into a lot of the content I've been making on TikTok recently. So when we're talking about mindfulness in terms of your fitness mindset, what I'm talking about is, why are you exercising? And is that motivation coming from a healthy, helpful place? Or is it coming from a place of shame or guilt or feeling like you are doing something wrong or you need to compensate for something in some way? Because if your motivation for exercising or your goals for exercise isn't coming from a place of self-love and compassion, there's a good chance it's just going to make you feel worse. So let me explain. A lot of times we exercise because we feel pressure from diet culture. So we are constantly being inundated with information all around us about what types of bodies are good, what types of bodies are bad, and what types of behaviors we should or should not be engaging in to have a good or bad body. Now, we grow up in a world that is saturated with these kinds of messages, so it's really easy to go through our lives just not questioning them and believing that all of this information is true, when it in fact is not necessarily true. So all these lessons that you've learned throughout your life about what a good or bad body is, what good or bad behaviors are, scrap it all. It is all based not on something that is coming from you and something you know to be true in your heart. It is coming from diet culture and the fitness industry and the diet industry, which don't have your best interest at heart most of the time, but instead are just going to be feeding you the messages that they know will get you to buy their products and services. So that doesn't necessarily always lead you to unhealthy behaviors, but oftentimes it does. So mindful movement is also taking into account, what do I believe? What do I value? What motivates me to take care of myself? And are the decisions I'm making in line with those beliefs and values and what I know my body needs? So I'll try to give a couple examples. So this would be an example of someone who is not being mindful of their motivators for exercise. So they grow up buying into beauty standards and diet culture's definition of what an acceptable body is. And so they also grow up believing that they are too big and that exercise is the thing that they need to do in order to make their body smaller and thus more acceptable. So anytime that they see a workout on Pinterest or something advertised on TV that promises to help them lose weight, they try that thing out. They, do that 12-week program. They buy those booty bands or that waist trainer. They are not being mindful of what they actually value and believe, which is probably not thinness and beauty standards. That's what they're being taught to believe, but not what they actually believe intrinsically. And then they are acting on messages that they're receiving from the outside instead of what's coming from the inside. So instead of being mindful, they are just going along with whatever is told to them about how they should look and what they should do to look that way. Now, on the flip side, someone who engages in mindful movement or has a mindful relationship with exercise would instead be making goals based on how they feel, right? Not just how they want to look because that's what they've been told they should look like, but how they feel. So this person, maybe they understand that when they go to the gym every morning and do an exercise before work, they know that it helps them feel more energized for the day. It helps them maintain better mental health. And they know that when they do that, they're gonna feel better. But they also know that there's some days where it is the best decision to not do that. Maybe they didn't get enough sleep the night before, so they decide, you know what, instead of going to the gym, I'm gonna get an extra hour of sleep because I know that's gonna be better for me today. Or maybe they know they're dealing with an injury, so they still go to the gym, but they're gonna change the type of exercise they do because they wanna be able to protect that injury, but still get the other benefits of exercise that they're looking for. This person is flexible. This person is adaptable. This person is in tune with the way they feel, what they want out of exercise. And what they want out of exercise is coming from within them, not from outside them, not from societal expectations or diet culture's rules about bodies and exercise, but from within. So all of this, it should be clear that mindful movement is very, very related to other words that we often use in kind of the body acceptance space. So intuition, right? Body acceptance would be another one, that it's not about necessarily changing the way your body looks and only doing things in order to change your appearance, but it's about being mindful of how you feel and then choosing workout behaviors, exercise behaviors, or movement behaviors that are going to best serve you in that moment. So it's being aware of yourself, of what's going on around you, of the kind of beliefs that are being thrown at you, and then what you truly believe on the inside, and being able to take all of that information and use it to make really, really wonderful decisions about how to best take care of yourself. Now, I made that sound really, wonderful and amazing, and it is, but it's not necessarily that easy, especially right off the bat, and especially if, like most of us in Western society, you have grown up in diet culture being taught all of these toxic lessons about good and bad bodies, about what exercise is supposed to do for you. So the last thing I want to talk about in this video is kind of how you can get started on being more mindful about your relationship with fitness and what kinds of movement practices you choose to engage in. So the first thing that I would recommend is to do a little journal exercise, or if you don't like journaling, maybe talk with a friend or talk with maybe your therapist about this. But I want you to ask yourself some questions to really investigate why exercise is important to you, so that you can figure out, okay, am I operating off of, intrinsic beliefs and values that like exercise is important to me because of the things that I believe in my heart of hearts? Or am I exercising in order to please something or like meet some expectations that are outside of me? Because like I was saying in the beginning, if it's that outside of you, that is going to put you at risk of engaging in exercise behaviors that end up hurting you instead of helping you. So ask yourself, why do I exercise? Why do I like to exercise? Why do I want to exercise? And what do I hope exercise will bring me? What value do I hope it will bring to my life? So ask yourself those questions and then ask yourself how you feel about the answers. Do they feel honest? Do they feel like they are in your highest good and, in your best interest? Or do they feel like they are a punishment, or it's like I said, coming from something outside of yourself, meeting someone else's expectation of how you should be and how you should act? And if it's that outside version, it's time to switch around those priorities. See if you can find something intrinsic that you can put on the top of your list of motivators to exercise and bring yourself back to that. Operate from that one. Be mindful, right? Be aware, be mindful of using those intrinsic motivators that are coming from your personal beliefs and values to drive your decision making on how you're going to exercise and move your body. So the next step is to then look at how you are exercising right now and see if it matches up with those priorities that you've just set. So you've got these motivators. Maybe it is mental health. Maybe it has something to do with your physical health, regulating your blood sugar, or getting your bone density stronger or your muscles stronger. Maybe it's all just about having fun and engaging in joyful movement. Maybe you really like having athletic goals, and so your motivator to go into the gym and exercise is because you really love getting stronger or faster or learning new skills in the gym. These are all awesome reasons to exercise. And so now that you have your list of reasons, your list of motivators, is what you're doing actually helping you achieve those? Is it maybe making you go backwards, or is it completely unrelated? And now that can help you decide where you maybe need to make some changes. Because if you value feeling good and getting strong, but all you are doing is hours of cardio that make you feel awful, I think it's time to maybe switch it up. Try something different, because what you're doing isn't helping you work towards those goals or help you get what you want out of exercise. And this practice, this is all a part of mindfulness, because mindfulness is bringing awareness to what you're doing and why. So now that you have figured out what your motivators are, what your why is, and you've determined whether or not what you're doing is in line with that or not, then you can start to make some decisions on if you need to make changes. So maybe that means spending more or less time doing a certain activity, or being in the gym or whatever. Maybe it's changing the intensity of the way you work out. Maybe it's dropping certain exercises and adding other ones in. Maybe it's trying a new activity entirely. Like maybe running isn't what you should even be doing right now, and it's time to take an online dance class. Who knows? So now you can make decisions about how you want to change your behaviors and your plans to match your beliefs, values, and goals. Okay, are you following? I hope so. So now the other part of the mindfulness and where you can start is now you've made your plan, you've made your decisions, and now you're actually working out. This is not the time to check out and dissociate. This is the time to be in the moment. Be really aware of you, how you're feeling mentally, emotionally, and physically. What is your body doing? How is it moving? Does it feel good? Does it feel bad? Is it aggravating an injury? Is it feeling too hard or too easy? You should always be checking in with yourself throughout your workout so that you can ensure that everything you're doing is safe, is enjoyable, and is in line with those beliefs, values, and goals that you have determined previously. So in conclusion, I'm going to wrap it up here because we're getting close to the 20-minute mark. Mindful movement is about two things. It is about the things that are motivating you to exercise and being mindful of whether they are in line with your personal heart-centered beliefs and values. And then it's also about being mindful of, in the moment when you are exercising, is this actually what I need right now? Because we're not always going to need the same thing day to day. The human body is so complicated and always has different things going on. So depending on your energy levels, how much you've eaten, whether you're, getting over being sick, if you have an injury, slept well, all of these factors are going to influence what type of workout is going to feel good and be good for you. And the only way you can know if you are making a decision that is going to feel good is if you are mindful. So the last thing I want to say is that mindfulness is a practice, which means, especially if you are just getting started, please do not put pressure on yourself to somehow be perfect, because that's not a thing. You can't really do it right or do it wrong. You just either practice it or you don't. You are either mindful and aware or you aren't. And so I want you to really just take the pressure off. It's not about getting it right. Perfectionism is another hallmark of diet culture that we easily transfer to these other things when we're trying to heal from diet culture. So take a deep breath, take the perfectionism off. You do not have to do it correctly because there's no right or wrong way to do it. Mindfulness is just purely about being aware, being mindful, and then making the best decisions you can in that moment. And you might realize after, oops, that wasn't the best decision. And that's okay. That's just more information that you can now use to inform your future decisions. And some days it's going to be easier and some days it's going to be not. Mindfulness is often the hardest during the times where we need it the most, where we're feeling emotionally down, where we're feeling mentally exhausted. So just give yourself lots of grace. Be so kind and compassionate with yourself, because in the end, that's what this is all about. It's all about creating a set of self-care behaviors that is rooted in self-love and compassion instead of punishment for having a bad body or diet culture's rules or beauty standards or anything like that. We're letting go of the rules, expectations, perfectionism, and we are coming home to mindfulness, self-love, and compassion. So that is my explanation and my tips for mindful movement. I know it got a little bit kind of esoteric at points, but if you've seen any of my content, you know it always goes to that place with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have questions or requests for future content, please leave it below. Also, please go follow me on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. I'm very active on all of those platforms. And if you want to support the free content that I make, or you want access to all of the workouts that I provide on my Patreon, you can click the link in the description and sign up for as low as $2 a month. I want to make it super accessible. You can pay more a month if you would like, but minimum $2 a month, that's like half a cup of coffee these days. So you can check it out. You can also cancel at any time. Patreon's super easy. Yeah, awesome. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.